The ideal temperature for a hot tub is around 100 to 102 degrees Fahrenheit, and that usually takes about 4 hours. And it can range anywhere from 3 to 8 hours because generally water heats up at 5 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit per hour. But there are some factors that will affect the heating time of your hot tub, so let's discuss some of those. In general, a standard 6-person hot tub will usually hold between 320 to 475 gallons of water. So when you're looking at heating something that big up, there are a few things you want to think about. The base temperature is one of the things that you want to think about. If you live in climate where you use your spa not very often, then you might shut it down. Or if you leave your hot tub running, then you might not have to turn on the heat. This gives you a head start on reaching that 100 to 102 degrees that you're looking for. Another thing you need to think about is the ambient temperature. So what does the temperature of the water start with? It'll be much faster if you're already at a higher area or if you're in a warmer climate where the water is already pretty warm. Some things that affect the ambient temperature could also be some things like wind. If wind is going over an uncovered hot tub, then that might be causing some issues. So consider installing things like a windscreen or planting shrubs as a natural wind barrier. You can also enclose a hot tub in a gazebo or a small structure if you want. You also want to consider the hot tub cover. Keeping a cover on a hot tub helps trap in the warmer water so you don't have to start off with a much colder temperature as you try to maximize the heating of it. If you want to minimize the heating time and retain all the warmth, then you want to make sure that you have an energy efficient, well-maintained cover in place while you heat up the hot tub. You also want to consider tub insulation. Not only does heat escape from the air on the surface of the water, but it can also leak out through any tiny cracks or seams in the hot tub cabinet area where it's not insulated. One spot where the heat will sneak out is through the base of the hot tub. If your hot tub is on a concrete pad or a similar hard surface, then this might be affecting the heat of your hot tub. To help minimize this, just check for leaky spots and add insulation to cut off the air. You also want to consider routine maintenance. It's not glamorous, but it is a factor in how long it might take to heat up your hot tub. Routine maintenance will just help keep your hot tub in good working order. So you want to make sure you're doing things like keeping filters clear and clean, replacing them when they need to, keeping the pump maintained for maximum efficiency, and then also making sure that the jets operate properly. Also want to talk about whether or not you have jets on or off. There is some debate on whether or not using jets increases the temperature rising in a hot tub. Some people say that when you run the jets while heating the water so that the warm water circulates more freely through the tub. Others say that running the jets during warm-up actually sends cold air bubbles throughout the water, which slows down the heat accumulation. Seems that any effect jets may have on heating time will be minimal. An acceptable compromise is to run them periodically throughout the heating time or towards the end to make sure that the warmer water gets circulated before anyone gets in. Next thing you want to do is just make sure you have a quality heater. Good quality heater equals faster heating time for your hot tub. So consider upgrading if you want to have your hot tub's heating elements or entire heater to a bigger, stronger, newer model. It can also shave off minutes or even hours of time to heat your spa. One final thing to look at is whether or not you have a 110 volt or a 220 volt. The voltage difference usually correlates to the different type of plug that is needed to power your hot tub. 110 volt is typically in the US plugged in to a normal wall outlet, but a 220 or above hot tub, it has to be connected to a power directly to the main circuit breaker box, and a 110 volt hot tub is much easier to install to get running, but the heat will be much more slow because it's not as powerful as a more complicated 220. Usually a 110 volt hot tub will heat by 1 to 2 degrees per hour, depending on the hot tub's water starting temperature. So it can take anywhere from a couple hours to over a day to reach ideal temperatures if you're using a 110 volt hot tub. Regardless of which factors you choose to address your hot tub situation, the bottom line is simply the most average sized hot tub will require at least 3 to 4 hours to reach recommended temperature. And if you're thinking about putting your hot tub on a deck, watch this video as we walk you through on how to create a ground level deck for your backyard. And I'll see you over there.